because they understand the human mind, and through fiction we are programmed through emotion, where any act, anything at all, can be humanized in a way, in drama, as to make it palatable to the people.
His name is David.
I feel it. That's creepy. Whoa, feels so real.
In a distant future, in an age of intelligent machines.
And through fiction we are programmed through emotion, where any act, anything at all, can be humanized in a way, in drama, as to make it palatable to the people.
He is the first robotic child programmed to love and coexist as a member of a family. His is a tale of humanity and a journey to find his place among humans and machines.
I'm a boy.
You are a real boy. At least as real as I've ever made one.
So the Webbs and Bernard Shaw, and a third member, H.G. Wells, another lowly born person. He was born into a family that had lost its wealth, a middle-class family. His mother became a housemaid to an aristocratic family, and H.G. Wells was brought up in this particular house where his mother was the maid, basically. And they had a terror, domestic staff had a tremendous terror of poverty as they watched factory workers passing the windows, and they used to be terrified of having to join them one day, so they became more snobbish than the people who hired them, the actual owners of the homes. However, this thirst for power, or to get up into a higher class, enabled guys like Wells to be picked for that very craving, knowing that he'd have no conscience in getting up there. And he was also employed as a fictional writer to brainwash people, basically, through fiction into certain directions and ways of thinking. A planned society was his general theme through fictional works, like Shape of Things to Come. Most of his works, actually, though, were non-fiction, like his Outline of History in 2 volumes. His son finished the second volume because Wells died about 1948. So those 3 main founders, at least for the public's image, were the frontmen for the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society was funded by the British aristocracy, not the British working class. And the British working class were taught that this was actually formed for them. It was on the side of Labour. And out of that came the Labour Party of Britain, in fact. And at the top of the Labour Party of Britain, the Fabian Society still rules. And on the stained glass window in the home of Mrs. Webb in London, you'll see the actual stained glass portrait of the founders, and 2 of them are hammering the world into shape on an anvil. So in other words, the elite, the intellectual, scientific elite, are beating the world into the proper shape, you might say, the way it should be, the reshaping of society, symbolized as the world. Now, Bertrand Russell was another member of this group. Bertrand Russell was an aristocrat. His father was Lord Amberley, who was heavily involved in politics. He had a seat in the House of Lords, which is the British Senate, basically, although you inherit the title. And Bertrand Russell was born in the early 1870s. The same man was running the anti-war movement in 1960. still out in front of the crowds, and he ran the Committee of 100, they called it, which was the radical group of the anti-war protest movement. This particular group would smash down and cut through the fences at air bases and storm onto the runway and destroy things. So here again, you have an aristocrat funded through the Fabian Society, pretending to be on the working man's side, leading vast amounts of people who'd fallen for his spiel, and these guys always have a very good spiel, you see. And yet this lord, this particular lord, had nothing in common with the working class, nothing whatsoever. In fact, he never mixed with them apart from the mobs that he would speak in front. He wouldn't mix with them because he had nothing in common with them. He was a eugenicist. He believed in superior breeding and the breeding of intellect into people. He believed in abortion, birth control, and eugenics, meaning mandatory abortion for certain people below IQ levels of whatever. And Lord Bertrand Russell was a big player as far as the public are concerned, because he wrote so many books which can use certain truths and certain facts to bring you to a preconceived conclusion, knowing you must arrive by the way the information is presented. Most of the facts you arrive at, actually, or the conclusions you come to, are arrived at because they omit other facts, and that's how most of these conclusions are reached. Now, Bertrand Russell, he was given a personal teacher, a tutor, when he was very young. And this tutor was a Darwinian, as Mr. Russell in his own autobiography says. And he was a crazy guy, of course. He had chickens running all over the house. He wanted to study their various habits and etc. And maybe he hoped they'd evolve into a higher type of dinosaur, but who can tell?